Hello, YouTubers. This is Monica Gomez, and male activist shithole perverts. Like I say it all the time, and nobody's gonna get me to think otherwise. No matter how you chase me, how you discriminate against me, how you try to bully me, I'm never gonna be afraid of you. You strip me of my wealth too by making up false accusations of attacks. That's another thing. And you know what? I'm always gonna be everywhere, whether you like it or not, male activists, evil shits. And another thing, my narcissist mother, evil male activist, another one, called me today, threatening my house, my land, my animals, what I call animals, and threatening to call the police on me for lending me her car. And you should have seen how much male activists came out of the woodworks when I walked outside of my house just to stare at me and laugh or smile in my face because they can hear all the yelling from down the street. Incredible. You know, it's even funnier how they say that I've never acquired true value in life, but yet they always want to steal my value in life. My house, my land, my property, what I acquired. And you know what? I did call for the company from Barnes Company come pick up that green shed, because what I figured out was that my own mother, the narcissist, was trying to get me to pay for it once a month so that she can push over and overthrow my wealth power with all the work I've put in over these years so she can steal the green shed for herself through my hard work money. Sounds like the sneaky, old perverted activist bitch would do something like that. And we got into it earlier. She's like, "Give me my car, bitch, you stupid puta!" She was yelling at me on the phone. Yeah. Oh, but that's a loving mother to the old perverted activists that live in my city. Even one of the judges here in my city even said she's a loving mother. Why would she do that to you? Wow. I guess it's easier to not witness and not go through that experience when they're not threatening your life. And then she started yelling at me, "Why'd you lie to me about the cops and say that I threatened to murder you and this and that?" It's true. She did threaten to murder me and to get her son to murder me. She was always making murdering threats to me. When my son gets out of prison, I'm going to tell him to kill you, bitch. I don't like you. You're my enemy. You know, like all this stuff that's been going on for years. We've been battling. Battle Queen. You know, and then on top of that, she has a best friend, believe it or not. It's so sick to me, you know, how she like malactivizes. He's over 10 years older than her, and going over there, she hangs out with him, she borrows his stuff or whatever, and then she calls him Don, like an important person in Spanish. Like Mr. I'm like, Mr.? You know, how are you going to call an old perverted activist Mr.? I wouldn't even pay that much respectful attention to somebody like that. No, I wouldn't. Anyway, these fuckers don't like cougars. They don't like women power, women media control. And they've been working in their company for years. I've battled with them year after year with a lot of discrimination. Just recently, I was working in the beginning of one of the security companies I was with, and one of the males said, I don't want her working there. She's a female. I only want male officers. And then the other officer friend of mine's like, that's discrimination. They're not supposed to do that. But let me tell you, when they hired me to go back to the job site, their building almost burnt down. And I noticed that there was I could smell like smoke coming out of the wire. So I'm like, what is that, you know? And then I looked down and there was the heater, when it got cold, it started to burn the outlet. Like, it was almost going to catch fire. So I was just like, I went over there and I go, look, I don't want this building to burn down, and the way the heater is connected to the outlet, it's wrong. It's starting to catch fire. It's melting it. You can smell it and you can see it yourself. You need to remove that. So I let one of the coworkers know. And that's because they didn't want a female officer there. And nobody else happened to notice but me. It was unbelievable. But they're always trying something sneaky. The other day that I went to work, one of the officers yelled and screamed at me because, like, I happened to show up 30 minutes late. You know, I've worked double shift 24-hour shifts and security shifts, you know, without any complaint. There's been other officers that show up late all the time without any complaint. And then says, my wife's sick and it's your fault, you know, like, my wife's sick and I have to leave now. You know, hey, I didn't make your wife sick. My sister just passed away, selfish bastard. You know, how the fuck are you going to say that your wife is sick? My sister passed away and I'm not yelling in your ugly activist face. So, to have some type of respect, there's none. And a lot of people, it doesn't matter if they're officer or not. There's just male activists in general. There's just something evil about them. They're always plotting vengeance. They're always plotting attacks and strategies and shame and arrest and fines. You know, I've been fined for over 10 years of my life. And my mother never gets fined because she's an old perverted male activist. She slept with an older male that was 10 years older than her. So they adore and admire that type of evil, old perverted idea. And there's a lot of women that they do. They favor them because they're attracted to old perverted male activism. I've been harassed, I've been followed, I go to the store and I've even had to call police because, for my own safety, because these old perverts are there. As soon as I walk in the store, they walk fast behind me. And I'm like, I turn around, I'm like, what the fuck? How can somebody not notice, you know, something like that? And then I just keep on walking, like maybe they're just trying to get to their products fast. So I start to blow it off, like, you know, like maybe it's something that's maybe minor. And I'm like, maybe if I walk this way, it'll be like, you know, maybe it's something that is not so, you know, I'm trying not to over-exaggerate on something. But I walk this way. I walk this way, I walk this way, I walk that way, I walk this way, I walk that way, and that fucker's just like in my aisle. I walk in the other aisle, he follows me out of that aisle in the other aisle. I walk out of that aisle to make sure nobody's following me. I go in the next aisle, he goes and walks and follows me in that aisle. So I know for sure I'm being followed. I'm being followed, harassed, and I'm not just talking over exaggeration. These fuckers enjoy pissing me off. It's very obvious. And I've seen them. They'll stand there and they'll laugh and they'll be staring in my face like or they'll walk in as I'm walking out of the store and they'll stand there. And I'm like right here, like trying to read my receipt, my receipt, make sure that it's correct. And they'll like walk in and stand in front of my site. And just be like this. I'm going to show you what they do. This is like a zombie stare down. Like in my face. In my face. And I look up from reading the Believqueen, the Reina Seat, the copy of what I bought. And I'm like, what the fuck? This old man is staring at me like that. So I'm like, you have a staring problem? What's your problem, old man? And I've confronted them. I'm not afraid. And then they go, no, I don't have a staring problem. And they approach more. It's pretty bad how the way they are. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. And the people at the store told me, if they give you any problems, let us know so we can call police. If I walk in through the aisle, they're like right behind me. Like getting close. Too close. And I'll move upward, like my cart upward, and then I'll move that way, away from them, and I'll be like noticing, like, what the fuck? This old pervert just got too close to me, and I gotta push my cart that way. And they know that I don't like them. They've already talked in society. They know this about me. That's why they do it on purpose, and they gather in little groups, and they act like fools. You know, it's really pathetic of them. You know, but I've had stalkers of that type removed from the store by police because I won't put up with nothing of theirs. No old perverted activist will ever convince me they're better than me, that I'm submissive unto them. I don't care, no matter how much they corrupt the law to povertize my wealth, because they have attacked my wealth before. All these bail bonds and false arrests and charges. I didn't do nothing, and it's like, you're under arrest. And it's like, and then I have to pay to clear my records so I can go and work security again? You know? Yes, I like men, but not old perverted men. If you can tell the men in the background, that's young, attractive men. Ones with clean skin, tight skin, and muscles. That's why I would never be attracted to you, old Mel. So get it out of your psychological, narcissistic brain of harass stalkerness. It'll never happen between us. No matter how much you think my poverty will be stripped from me through your old little perverted shitholeness, I will never be interested in you. Fuck off and stay fucked off. Thank you very much. Anyway, yeah, and they do these like different strategies. Like they got young men or young women or older, like they have different age groups that actually malactivize for them. And they like to cling to the money of the male face. That's another thing I've noticed. They haven't totally gone and switched into, you know, the credit card. They have the credit cards now, but they haven't totally deleted. If you notice, they have not gotten rid of the actual paper money because they think it brings the light to male worshipping to them. Media attention to them. So that's why they do what they do. They cling on to paper money so they can show you, hey, I'm better than you. Look at my faces on a dollar bill. I don't care if you take photos, if you malactivize, if you put it on paper. You can do whatever the fuck you want, Mel, old pervert. But you're never going to convince me you're better than me. Never. I'm not convinced. I don't believe in you. I believe in me. And there are so much evilness like you wouldn't believe. Like every time I make some little bit of money, they're constantly breathing down my neck. Oh yeah. Like, how much money did you earn? And why don't you share? Or why don't you do something with it? Or why don't you go out with a man? Like, You know, or they'll stop in front of my house and be like, the old perverts will be passing by my house, and passing by my house. And there's one old perverts that moved just across the street not so many years ago, and they're constantly like trying to figure out a strategy to get my attention, to walk into my land. The new strategy was using their dog to get loose, cross into my land, so that they can try to talk to me. I'm never going to be your best friend. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm 100% plus sure. You're not going to convince me to talk with me, to be my friend. I will never want to be your friend. Understand? Pervert, old shithole male activist. And another thing is, even if it's 1 year off, and I noticed this also, and it took it to observance, 1 year. Just 1 year or even months apart that a male is older than a female, they'll send that specific male over there to talk. Like for me, they send me on Facebook an older male to talk with me so they can convince me that I'm going to be submissive to the older idea of age for old perverted activists. The Christian, the male worshiping Jesus, the Christmas whatever holiday that they have, and anything that has to do with a man's image of worship slavery onto men. It's pathetic the way they are. You know, I wouldn't say all people who believe in that crap. I believe it's crap. It's nothing of importance to me. I never want it to be either. I don't see myself as a woman kissing their feet, nor bowing to them willingly. It'll never happen. I would never accept nor allow myself to submissive and drop myself to their level, because I know I'm better than them. Now, if they force it upon me through the law, through these little shameful scams of trickery, arrest, or whatever, to laugh upon me, they're still being shameful because they know that I'm not doing nothing wrong, but they admit that I still am. Because in their eyes, punishing a woman is still their evil, sadistic way of thinking. A woman that's a woman activist. A woman that doesn't believe in their stupid Christian faith. A woman that is not for everything that they believe in their go dig strategy. For OMG, as in their go for D, as in man. Their stupid whatever illusion of the male is all superior. You know what I really think about that, Raina, Elia? They're a joke onto society. They're struggling to gain power. That's what I really think. Whether there's handcuffs on me or not, that's what I will always believe. They're struggling, they're fighting their way, trying to intimidate people to be convinced in their nonsense. Because it is nonsense. It will always be nonsense. It doesn't make sense at all. Other than, I want control, I'm a male bastard that thinks that everybody should bow to me. You know what? You can bow to her mother girl faith. Her vegan mother girl faith. Fucker, because I would never allow myself to bow to you. Nor believe in your stupid male activist. There are men that tell me so also. Older males that are not perverts, that I've known all my life. Not all old males are perverts. Not all people in general are perverts, activists. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that these people do warn me about these other evil pricks living among society. They warn me about them. This is how I know. This is how I observe. This is how, you know, I'm being bothered by these other groups that are so convinced in shamming women. It has happened throughout all centuries, all lives. Olympia was murdered for being a women activist. There was women's suffrage in the 1800s. There's always women activist battles going on. It's still going on to this day and age. They're still being the way that they once were, and it has not changed other than, you know, different clothing and styles and stuff, but they're still cruel bastards no matter how you see it. Well, I'll keep you updated on what's going on in my life, but I'm still fighting over here. And it's not gonna change. Why? Because I'm a fighter. I'm not gonna let somebody run me like that or convince me they're better than me because they're 6 months apart and they're older than me or whatever. You know, I had to block this handsome guy, and he was handsome. He was a blonde-headed guy, handsome, the type of guys that I look for in the younger males. But he was an older male, like maybe 1 year older than me. And I still was very skeptical about that because what these older pervert activists do, the ones that are in their 60s or 70s, they'll sin, or 50s or 40s or whatever that are older than me, they'll send these ones that are a little bit older than you. And if you don't notice, that little bit counts a lot. I'm the winner now. I'm the mighty warrior. I conquered all young female. And they worship unto me. They bow to my feet. I slave them. You know, this is how the sick mentality they have. You have to be careful. I wouldn't say all males are like that, just like I wouldn't say all people are like that. But the few that do exist in this world even make up for a bunch that they start this little evil thing that goes on. A movement. See, I'm a Cougar movement. They're opposer movements of the Cougar. And we'll never get along as far as I'm concerned. I've been shot at. I've been almost stabbed at with a knife. There's been a lot of shit going on with these old perverted activists trying to intimidate me. Bullied, brought fights and challenges too. When I was younger, I got into several fights in school. Fist fights. Because eventually, after being, picked on for such a long period of time, I started to fight back. And then they used that against me to try to get me into trouble. Say that I was a problem child up to that point. I'm not a problem child. They're the fucking problem. Why do they come and provoke me if they don't want their ass beat? Hey, and then you complain about it later after I whip your ass? Come on. It's not my fault, but I know my limitations. I'm not gonna, if they're picking on me, I didn't kill them, obviously, and they, I would have been in far worse trouble, and they would have used that against me too. They're alive, happy, laughing at me, whatever the fuck they do, trying to convince others that there's no value onto me or people like me, whatever the fuck. I still fight them off no matter what. And I'm still valuable, even though they want to discriminate, and they do discriminate against me. I am valuable, and you ain't never going to take that from me, as long as I know what you're after, mouse shithole activist. A woman. Auf Wiedersehen.